Hey, yeah, what's up? This disciple Marshall Occurrence reign up in this. I'm anti-Illuminati all day and anti-America. So this video is going to be about female pedophiles. And, because they're very overlooked and downgraded. And that's going to be one of the main subtitles. If this was a campaign, I am making this the subtitle as far as female pedophiles go. The The subtitle is female pedophile. The whole title is this. First title part, female pedophiles. Subtitle, overlooked and downgraded. It's overlooked, not seen, not looking for one, not looking for a female at all. Your whole American society not looking at female pedophiles. They ain't looking for none of them to be pedophiles at all. And they're downgraded to where it's not even seen as a pedophile. Now, when a female is downgraded from being a pedophile, you know what the next thing in line is? She's a sex symbol, or and hear this part, a sex fantasy. That's a 7. You know how many men said, "Oh, I would have loved to have a teacher that did that to me." Now, how many men in your American society have said, "Ooh, I would have loved a teacher, have had a teacher do that to me, if a female teacher do that to me." You know what you're actually saying? "Ooh, I would have loved for a pedophile to have abused me." That's what you're saying. You have downgraded a pedophile into a place of a sex symbol and a sex fantasy, bro. Go, yes. You men know how many men say, "Ooh, I would have loved to have had a teacher like that when I was a kid." You have no problem with that fantasy of a woman being a pedophile. That's a 7, which means you've downgraded it to a sexual fantasy or a sex symbol, or made the pedophile a sex symbol. Female pedophiles get made into sex symbols. Female pedophiles get made into sexual fantasies. That's why the Lord wants me to put an emphasis on this. Because in your American community, the female pedophiles get turned into sexual fantasies and sexual in sexual symbols. And they get overlooked because these dumb, dopey cops and dumb, dopey men in this country, and even the dumb, dopey women, you're not looking for an attractive woman, which what I've seen from the pictures of female pedophiles I've looked at, more than half of them are very attractive women. They're not ugly. They're not ugly women. Go look up female pedophiles and look at how many of them are attractive. It's a pattern. A lot of them are attractive. You know what that means to me? You've overlooked them because of their beauty. Oh yeah, you just see a beautiful woman. You don't think nothing about who she is. You don't think nothing about what she do. And that includes women. You do it too. And I'm not saying you're a lesbian in all cases. You just look at her and see her beauty and say, "Oh, that's a cute woman." And hear this part, because most of you women have hang-ups and you're jealous of her beauty, you don't think nothing else. That's a 7 out. Oh, you just saw that she was cute and you got jealous and looked away. So she could do whatever she wanted to do because you were jealous. And the rest of you women are saying, "Oh, she's so cute. I just want to speak to her." Men, you do the same thing. "Oh man, she's beautiful." And you don't think about nothing else, do you? And that goes for the cops too. Oh, I know you're human. I know you're very human. You can't play that role on me. See, unlike many civilians, I've been around cops and I've been around military. So I know you're very human. Mm-hmm. You see beautiful women and your whole criminal radar goes down. That part, that's 7 hour. Yeah, you ain't looking for no criminal in her. Not her. And she a full-blown pedophile. You don't even know it. See, I had to come to this part of the show because it would only be right with America having their most famous pedophile being a woman. Mary Kay Letourneau is your most famous pedophile between men and women. The one that went the most viral, however you want to put it. She is the most famous pedophile, period, in your country. Mary Kay Letourneau. Obviously, she comes from a French family. Mary Kay Letourneau. Look her up. Mary Kay Letourneau. Right? She's the most famous pedophile in your country. So famous, she got on Oprah. She got on the Oprah Winfrey Show back in the day. Now, my whole thing with that is, okay, now had that been a man, would he have had made the Oprah Winfrey Show? Now, that's my thing. If he had been a man, being known for being a pedophile, right, with a little girl in the class, right, and whatever the situation may have presented itself to be, would he have been on the Oprah Winfrey Show? So I would say no. I would say no. I don't think he would have made the Oprah Winfrey Show. I don't think people would have found that interesting. But we do, in the psychology of America, people find it, some would say, stimulating for these women to be pedophiles. Well, I just showed you men who say they would like a woman to be their teachers, to have been sexually attracted to them. Those same type of individuals are at least foundationally the percentage of what I'm talking about, of people that find these female pedophiles stimulating. But you find the counterparts, despicable. I got to do this because your most famous pedophile is a woman in America. Your most famous pedophile in America, whether you like it or not, is a woman, is a female. Born a female, not a tranny. No. Born a female here in America. She made the Oprah Winfrey Show. She made the Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah Winfrey brought her on there, and she probably asked all the right questions of people that would not agree with this behavior, but at the end of the day, it was a form of entertainment. At the end of the day, it was a form of entertainment. And so I've been telling you for months that I was going to get to the part of the show of showing you the female pedophile, because it is overlooked and downgraded in the American community. You don't really have a problem with it. You don't really have a problem with it. When I tell you a woman did something, oh, well, women have to do their little sexy thing, That's how you put it. Women do their little sexy thing. She do her little sexy thing, You getting on men. You think you getting on men for doing it, but you don't really get on women for doing it, do you? You want to kill a man for being a pedophile, but do you really want to kill a woman for being a pedophile? Now I want to see where your heart is at. Because I have heard men say they would have had one of their fantasies is they would have liked one of their teachers to have been sexually attracted to them. That's here in America, psychology. Okay, so it's safe to say with that percentage of men that think like that some being those men, foundationally speaking, some of you wouldn't want to kill a female pedophile. Would you want to kill her? So what you think would be necessary? As most men, you know what they're gonna say? Well, I'll whoop some sex on her, and I'm some crazy stuff. Okay, how much you want to put up? I guarantee you. Let's do a poll. How many men that would say, I put some sex on her. If she do something like that, I put some real good sex on her. She'll never be messing with no children. You don't want her to be punished. You don't want her to be beaten or anything like that or jailed. You talking about you gonna sex that out of her. You gonna sex the pedophile out of her. That's what you're telling me. You gonna put sex on her so good. Meanwhile, why would you want to have the other thought should be? Meanwhile, you having sex with a pedophile, basically. Basically. Huh? That's what you're doing, buddy. And listen, I don't care how good your sex is. I don't think you're gonna get that off her. This has to be addressed specifically for America because your most famous pedophile is Mary Kay Letourneau, and she's gonna keep coming up as a name. You can go look at her on the Oprah Winfrey Show. When she married the little kid, the little Asian guy. She married the kid. She died just 2 years ago. She died during COVID. She didn't die from COVID, but she died in the summer of COVID. I remember. It was like I was led to the information. Yep, your most famous pedophile here in America is a woman. So what is that? So it's only right in my campaign that I bring the whole subject up, the dynamic of it up, and address it as I do, as you know how I go in. So it's going to be satellites. I'm going to go into the whole makeup of it. But see, it's no pun intended. It's like carrying a baby with these messages for me. And sometimes I'll get the concept, but then it has to have in order for it to come into the full delivery, I have to have all things in place. And I can feel that sometimes it's not there. And now it's there. If the timing is right on it. You know what I'm saying? And I can feel all the elements there. You're listening to a prophet. Like it just, so that means sometimes I say something and I'm way ahead. Like I might be months ahead of when it needs to be delivered. But I'm dropping it now. I might drop it now, but everything is not pulled together yet. But now I feel that it's pulled together. Because you've been making females, you've been leaving them all out of the whole picture. You've left women out of the whole equation of giving them, seeing them, identifying them as pedophiles, and giving them the full punishment. That's a 7. Seeing them as pedophiles and giving them the full punishment as a pedophile. Most people don't want to, most Americans, you don't want to kill the female pedophile, do you? You want to bring them on Oprah Winfrey. Get them some McDonald's. Put them on Oprah Winfrey. We're going to go through the psychology of why she thinks the way she thinks. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares how she thinks? You ain't worried about how the pedophile guy thinks. You worried about how he thinks? Oh, you want to sit up and eat popcorn and watch the pedophile guy explain why he wants a child? But it's interesting to you. Now you see what I'm saying? It's interesting to you. You go get popcorn to watch Mary Kay Letourneau on Oprah because you want to see why she thinks the way she thinks. Now, I can see why you would wonder why she is contrasting the nature of a female, which is a caretaker, a mother, but that's the only percentage. And I'm pretty sure that's not why the audience was really watching. Might be getting stimulated a little bit. But the bottom line is this, guys. Your most famous pedophile is a female. Can't blame the men. Hey, the men ain't on that throne. A man is not on that throne. Not in America. You know who's taking the throne? A female. And you know what that means to me? You know what it means to me? It means you overlooked her as Americans. She was a school teacher, by the way. This most famous pedophile was a school teacher. So you know what that means? She was already a pedophile before she became a school teacher. I would say so. Something was there in her psychology that was attracted to children. She was aroused concerning children. I would say there's a difference between repelling lust for children and being attracted to them. That's not a pedophile. If you are repelling lust of children, you're not a pedophile. A pedophile is inwardly lusting and being aroused by it. If you're repelling it, how are you a pedophile? So it's safe to say this woman was already, before she got a job being a teacher, she was already inwardly lusting and probably masturbating, thinking about children probably. And yet she went and got a job as a teacher. She looked right in the eyes of people that hire teachers. Let's go through the whole thing. Let's go through the process of the most famous pedophile, which is a female. She went through the whole process of just, getting snuffed out, licked out. I'm sure they're checking her out, making sure she's safe for children. They ain't just hiring her. I mean, they ain't judging her in an interrogation room. She's not in an interrogation room. She probably wasn't in an interrogation room, but at the end of the day, they're giving her that second look, like, is she okay for children kind of look. Who else is going to do it? I mean, the police are not doing it in that case. They have to do it. And they still didn't do it properly, did they? Obviously not. Now, she went through the process of talking to the right people to get this job as a teacher. She met other teachers. They didn't see anything wrong with her. She was probably at the PTAs. Parents didn't see anything wrong with her. So parents didn't see anything wrong with her. Teachers didn't see anything wrong with her. People that hired her didn't see anything wrong with her. And the principal probably didn't see. He or she didn't see anything wrong with her. So how did she still get hired? How does she still stick around? Because the female pedophile is overlooked and downgraded. She's overlooked and downgraded. And your most famous one is your perfect example of what I'm talking about. She was a teacher. But she was a pedophile. And I'm pretty sure she was a pedophile before she was a teacher. She didn't just say, pop up a teacher and say, oh, well, I know what I am now. I'm a pedophile. These kids are too much for me. They just did something in me and I'm just now a pedophile. She was probably already a pedophile already. So how did she get under the radar? How did she get under the radar? Because you overlooked her as a society. You overlooked the female pedophile. You overlook them and you downgrade them, even if you find them. Hear this part. Even if you find the female pedophile, you downgrade them to a sexual desire, a sexual fantasy, or a sex symbol. You make these female pedophiles out of a sex symbol. You don't do that with the men. You do that with the women. Your most famous pedophile is a female. I know you might feel like I'm just bringing bad news during the time of COVID. Hey, you got people playing games, doing crazy stuff during COVID too. Why not? You got people playing crazy games around COVID. Why not bring solutions? Why not tell the truth? You got people lying during COVID. Why not tell the truth during COVID? You got people trying to assassinate characters during COVID time, during this COVID era. Well, why don't we expose who's really doing what during this COVID time? How about that? Don't you think that's the balance in the situation? I think so. See how I cleared up the perspective of what I'm doing? You got the female pedophiles. The female pedophiles out here. And they're always going to be overlooked because of their beauty. Like I said, I was amazed at the looks of the pedophile women. All of them are attractive. Most of them are attractive. I didn't really see one I was like, ooh, how did that happen? How did a kid even come near that? Why wasn't the kid running from her? They have to be inviting. Think about it. And the only way a kid is going to be really interested in a female pedophile, because hear this part. A female pedophile is not really aggressive, right? So she can't physically attack the child sexually, right? You got male pedophiles now, they can just rape the child. You're not going to really find female pedophiles that's going to be able to do that. For more reason than one. Because, let's say in the case it's a straight pedophile, female, the child has to have some type of erection, right? Well, if she's trying to rape a boy, how is he going to have an erection? So she has to have beauty and seduce the child. I'm showing you the real mechanics. She has to seduce the child into being erected, getting an erection, right? Which takes beauty, usually, obviously, and seduction, which is back to beauty. All of that, right? Gotta have that going on. I looked up 50 pedophiles, and I'm going to do a video on 50 teacher pedophiles. I looked through 50 female teacher pedophiles. And all of them were fairly attractive. Not all of them. I'm saying most of them were, for most men would want to be with them sexually. There was not one like, ew. Like, where did she come from? All of them were mostly attractive women. And it makes sense because they have to attract the boy. The boy is a different ballgame because there has to be an erection there. I'm sure these female pedophiles want an erection out of the boy, right? That's probably the most of the get off right there, right? I'm guessing. May not ejaculate, but the erection is a home run for a female pedophile, I would think. Just to get a boy up. Think about it. Now, you have to get into the wiring of this, guys. I know. You haven't had someone grow you up in this area, have you? You have to become grown because, see, what your culture has done, they've caused a war. And now we have to find out everything and we have to know everything and you have to grow up super fast to save yourself, okay? So I'm helping you do that because your culture went out and blamed people and they got 44 states with child marriage. You know, you got the world record for the lowest age of consent here in America. So now everyone has to grow up super fast and super quick to even think about surviving. Boom, ow, that's a 7. And that's just how it is. So I'm here to help you do that, but you have to do it. You know, you can't just act like you can't. You don't have to do this, you have to do this. Okay? So I'm not doing this just for my health. You have to do this. Because your country started I'm just letting you know, just in case you don't know what's going on on the streets. Your country started how you want to put this, a sexual war, a war of sexual integrity war, and now it's causing everyone to have to come under inspection. And so I'm showing you everything. That's why all of this is going out. So you have to get the mechanics of everything. So I have to not only address the issue, I have to go into the wiring of the issue. You get it? So that's why I'm going into the descriptions and everything like that. That's why it's so important instead of just going over it and just leaving it at that. No. We got to go into the wirings of everything because of this war concerning sexual integrity in your country in America. They caused it, you know, so it's got to go there. So what I'm doing is, what I'm doing is prophetic. It's not just a guy on the YouTube page. And so what I do, another reason I keep doing this, whether I get views or not, is because it's prophetic. It's like growing fruit. I'm growing fruit. And so whether people eat the fruit or not, it's going to bring about a repercussion. You see what I'm saying? A spiritual repercussion. I'm growing it, and then it brings about a spiritual, as it sits there, it's bringing about a spiritual repercussion because it is there. So it's a truth that is now manifest. You got it? Good. Ow. So a female pedophile, she probably, her get off is the boy getting up, getting an erection. So I don't know. I don't know how it just ends up this way, that most of them be pretty. I guess that's the ones who really get this situation going, I guess, huh? Because I would not say that all of them are pretty. I wouldn't say all of the female pedophiles are gorgeous. But I would say the ones that are successful are the ones more times than not that are attractive. So I do need to make that clear, because all female pedophiles are not attractive. That would be being naive. There has to be ones that are not that attractive. So it's better to say that most of them that will be successful at what they do will be the ones that are attractive. Again, the female pedophiles that will be successful most likely are the ones that are attractive, because they have to get the boy to get it up, right? He has to be interested in the first place, right? So in order for that to be, obviously she has to be attractive. And I would say extremely attractive, to not even barely, because to get a child to see her as pretty or beautiful, it has to be a little more, she has to be exceedingly beautiful. For her to even make a child's mind think about a female, an older woman in that way. Right? Right. So that would explain why when I see mugshots of these 50 female teachers, that all of them, most men would have sex with. I'm just put it like that. And what I also noticed is they had really catchy names. I guess that's part of it too. No, I'm not being funny. Go look yourself. You're gonna be like, well, he was right. He was right. They got like weird, catchy names. Like one of them names was Cameo Patch. Cameo Patch, bro. I can't make this up. Cameo, like doing a cameo, patch. Right? Which most people would think that would mean vagina patch. Cameo patch. So cameo patch would be a porn star. That's a cameo patch. I know. I just thought about it. But there's more. Like one of the other pedophiles, her name was Autumn Leathers. Autumn Leathers. How cool of a name is that? Autumn Leathers. Like autumn leathers. Like leathers, like a leather jacket. Autumn Leathers. That's a really cool name, and I don't know if that's part of the allure, you know. These are the successful ones. Like, we're talking about the successful ones here. Okay? So, your most famous pedophile in America is a woman. Because, see, we have to understand and see, women have been hiding in concerning this issue. And that's how they've been getting away with it. Because you running around like John Wayne after the men, and the women are doing the same thing. They struggling with the same issues. They're getting off on it. They're turned on by children, and they're masturbating, thinking about children, and they're doing it. They're doing it, man. And more times than not, lately, it's been female teachers that has been getting caught. Lately, I ain't seen a man teacher caught in a long time. Lately, it's been like female teacher after female teacher, and you look at it as female. I look at it as pedophile. I'm not one of those guys who just, I think like a warrior. A woman is a human to me, first and foremost. She's a female, but she's a human being first, capable of doing anything to me or anything to anyone else. That's rule one for me as a soldier. A woman is a human first, right? And then everything else after that. If a woman is approaching me, I'm not thinking about, oh, she's so hot. Oh my God, what is she going to do? I don't know who she is. She's a human being first. I'm looking at, you may think I'm crazy. I don't care. I'm looking at I'm looking at body language. I'm looking at everything else, just like a man. And then when I see that she's cool, Then I think female after that. I know you wish your dad was like me, don't you? You wish your man was like me, huh? Because he getting caught up messing with these females and I'm not. Because the first thing I see when I see a female is a human being. When you see females, you know what you see? Female, 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 female. That's what your mind does. When most of you men see women, female, 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 it's a signal that goes like an alarm. It goes off in your head. Female, 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 female. You can't even turn it off. Until she leaves. Female. Now it turns off. Me, I don't do that. When I see a female, oh, that's a human. Just like a guy. And that's why I don't have no problems. That's why I don't get caught up. That's why, I've never cheated on a woman. I can honestly say that. I've never had. I just some people just have a stronger perspective and a stronger build. In order for you to go anywhere and be rich, you can't be like trying to have sex with everybody. How you gonna do that? You be trying to have sex with everybody. You try to be rich and you having sex with people down at the golf court. You having sex with people at the basketball court. You got a club, a millionaire club. You having sex with women there. You're having sex with people around at the restaurants, around the waitresses at the bar in your neighborhood. You're just having sex with everybody, man. And those kind of men usually die. They get assassinated by women. You know why? Because all you saw was female. You didn't see the potential of her doing stuff just as an evil human being. Like me, I look at that first. Like, okay, you're a female, but you're a human. Right? So I'm looking at, who you might, you're human. You might be talking to other people. You might be dealing with other people. I want to know who you are first. And if you, and I'm not going to be a sucker for you being a female. I'm not going to be a sucker because you're a female. And that's why men like me stay alive. And that's why a lot of you die. Because all you see is female and you overlook everything else because of the female element. You downgrade everything they do because of the female element. Even pedophilia. Perfect example. Half of y'all don't even know who the most famous pedophile is in your country. You don't even know it's a female. Now, if it was a man, you probably would know that. Yeah, that's Charles. Charles Ivy. That's the most famous pedophile here in America. Charles Ivy. I looked him up. Charles Ivy. Everybody knows Charles Ivy. I know his name is Charles, ain't it? Charles, yeah, Charles something. Charles Ivy. It's Charles Ivy, man. It's Charles Ivy. Now you don't know nothing about the real reality, which is in your country, the most famous pedophile is a female pedophile, which is Mary Kay Letourneau. And what I found interesting is people in your culture will say, well, for you to know this, you must be a pedophile. Well, who's supposed to do this? Who's supposed to do this work? Who's supposed to catch the right people and stop the wrong people from being convicted? Who's supposed to keep back your crazy community that witch hunts people and go after people without facts and knowing the facts? How are we supposed to do it? What are we supposed to do about that part? Oh, just sit back and not find out any information. See, that's how ignorant you are. Somebody was acting like, oh, only a pedophile would want to know some kind of information about that. Why? Somebody must have taught you to think like that. That's called education. That's called education. I want to know about everything. I don't care what it is. I want you tell me something I don't know. Oh, great. See, in other countries, they think it's cool to be smart. Here, you think it's dumb. You've demonized being smart. Basically, you've demonized it. Being smart is like demonic. He's too smart. She's too smart. It's creeping me out. It's creeping you out. You know what's creeping me out? How dumb y'all are. That's what's creeping me out. You got 44 states with child marriage, and and people around here talking about that's only a pedophile would know this. Boy, that explains a lot, man. That explains a lot. That means that people that in your culture feel that to seek out information in this area is not normal for a pure American. But to me, that doesn't make sense, because wouldn't a pure American be the one that would bring the people to justice? And how would they do that if they don't know anything? They would be the only ones that's able to do it, because obviously everyone else is doing whatever with no integrity. So a person that's pure or of character integrity would go to the next level and actually find out the laws and the statistics of these situations. Just admit it, man. You just dwarfed as a community as far as when it comes to character and integrity and education and information. You just dwarfs. You're elves. You're the 7 dwarfs. Okay? Okay, I guess, I don't know. I can't say I'm Snow White. You're the 7 dwarfs. Who am I? I don't know. I guess I'm not in the picture. Okay, but I don't know. Women pedophiles. The subtitle we're going with: overlooked and downgraded. Perfect. God is good. God is good. Because that's the perfect subtitle to this situation. It really is. It really is. Because that's the real reason why it's thriving and striving and it's not being brought to justice. Because even in family, because people are overlooking it and downgrading it for the beauty, because of the beauty. Now, we established why the beauty is a big part of it, because with the female pedophile, it's beauty is necessary for success as far as interacting with the child sexually, having a sexual successful encounter with the child. Particularly for females, it requires beauty on their behalf. In families, even female pedophiles get downgraded, right? If they do something, they get downgraded, and I've been through it. I've been through a female pedophile doing something to me as a young kid, right? And I'm not going to say it was downgraded. I'm just going to say that the members of my family that I told wasn't really appalled, right? And I believe that reason was because it was a female. Now, had it been a man, it would have been different, right? So I've been through that downgrade. And I love my family. but it's just the facts. You know, if a female does something, it's downgraded. Excuse me. And I've been through, like I said, a female in my family that was obviously an adult. And I was obviously not an adult, you know, and something happened and I didn't like it, you know. But I waited years later to say anything about it. And maybe that was because it was a pedophile, a female. Maybe even the victims are even different towards it, biased towards it, because I didn't really feel like, you know, it was like, I knew it was wrong, but I didn't really feel like I needed to say anything really. And maybe because it was a female. So, but anyway, I just think that definitely, even when it happens in family, like if some person goes through something and you tell your family and it's like, because it's a female, it's treated differently. You know, even Tyler Perry, he went through it where he had a female family member. Now, I'm not saying anyone responded differently. And I'm not saying he should have responded any differently necessarily. But had it been a man in his situation, would he have went through it the way he did? It makes you wonder. Because in his case, I'm just going to tell the story from what I was told. And this is no disrespect to his, and this is no disrespect. This is all for the getting of information concerning the psychology of how we respond to female pedophiles. So this is no disrespect to his story in any form or fashion. He told a story, I think on Oprah years ago, where Tyler Perry, that plays Madea, and just make movies and does all kind of crazy making of movies and shows and everything, right? He told a story where a family member put a literal key, like a key to open the door, in her vagina. She was a grown woman. I guess he was a child, and she would make him get the key out her vagina, like dig it out her vagina, right? Now, had that been a man, would he have dug I have to ask this question. Would he have dug the key out the man's butt? Because a gay man is very capable of putting especially a key in his anus. So, in my opinion, would he have been successful doing that? I mean, would that pedophile have been successful with that get off? You know, I don't know. I just think I'm asking these questions because I want to see the psychology of even the victims. And maybe even the victim is a double victim because of the fact that if it's a female, because you're still letting it happen in so many ways. You know, like for me, what happened to me was, you know, it was a family member and she was in her 30s to late 30s, mid to late 30s. I would say late 30s. I was only 16 and we was over my auntie's house and the kids were all sitting on the bed and we were sitting on the bed and she was hugging all the kids. A light was coming in from the bathroom and the living room, but there was no light in the room that we actually were in, but we were on the bed just chilling, hanging out like kids do. And so she came in the room and started hugging all the children, like for no reason. I don't know. And when she got to me, she like licked all in my ear and I was like, okay, I just let it happen and that's what it was. And I walked away that day. I didn't say anything. And maybe that's the bias. That was the bias in me. Had that been a man that did that, maybe I would have said something instantly. Like, yo, what is going on? Like, I would have maybe punched him. Think about it. It makes you wonder, right? I gave you two examples. So, um, yeah. So, because I know if a man had licked in my ear after hugging me and hugging them, I would have probably told my mom, like, yeah, like he was at the party drunk or something, licking all in my ear. Like, yeah. Like, man, I ain't never hugging that dude again or something like that. But I didn't say anything. And I think that's because it's just that it's the female element. And so female pedophiles get away with so much because, like I said, it's overlooked and downgraded, and I would even say also it's suppressed. You know, if they do anything with somebody and they get away and it happens, some people will suppress that what happened. Some people will suppress what happened. And so that makes it even harder to catch them, you know, in the act or in the limitations of in the time frame that it happened. You know what I mean? So that being said, you know, it's an issue that really has never really been properly addressed you know, and it hasn't been really. I don't know. I would say the ratio of success with catching female pedophiles beforehand or detecting them per se, I would say the detection beforehand is more like 15%. When you say 5, I would even say 5 to 15%. Catching them before it happens. It's always after the fact. Many times, you know, male pedophiles get nabbed, but their methods are different. You know, their ways of going about it is different than a woman. So many women don't get catch because of by the time, sometimes because it's suppressed, the laws of the statutes of limitations, if I'm saying that right, are surpassed. I mean, you know, time goes by and it's too late. You know what I mean? So in my case, that's exactly what happened. The laws of the statutes of limitations were I had surpassed those. You know, I didn't tell anybody to a solid decade. You know, yeah, almost 2. Well, hold up. Well, over one decade and some change. So, yeah. Um, you know, but it's an issue and we need to address it because, you know, with with the most famous pedophile being a female, oh yeah, it's time to address it. They're way too comfortable. And I know why. You know why? Because they're beautiful. That's why. You got beautiful pedophiles. You didn't think you didn't think it was real, did you? Did you think it was be such thing of a real, beautiful female pedophile? Well, your most famous one is that. Mary Kay Letourneau, she's dead now, but she was beautiful. She was an attractive looking woman by most people's standard. As far as her face goes, she had a pretty face. She had a pretty face. She was not an unattractive woman facially speaking. And guess what? Here's the punchline. Your whole American community didn't give her any problems over the years. She lived out her years with that same boy that she had sex with before he was an adult. She got married to him, had kids by him and everything. And y'all didn't persecute her. No, you didn't. In other words, y'all didn't hate her. You didn't hate. She died. It's too late. She died. She lived out her pedophile fantasy. Hear this part. And I'm gonna be saying this over and over again. This is a soundbite I'm gonna be saying over and over again. She lived out her pedophile fantasy, and your country didn't persecute her or witch hunt her or hate her. Hear this part. Culturally. You didn't do it. No, you didn't. It's too late now. She dead. She lived out her whole life as a pedophile, living the dream. This is going to be part of the sound bites are part of my female pedophile campaign. Because she lived out the dream of a pedophile without any true persecution from your community. She lived it out. She was living it. Not only did she do it, she was living it. You see the difference between doing something and living it? She lived it out. She married this boy. She married the same boy that she was messing around with when he was 13. He was 13. She married him. Your society knew about it because Oprah Winfrey made it nationwide, international. Making it international, and no one in your community persecuted her, killed her, shot at her, tried to assassinate her, really? Well, I didn't hear about that. I'm pretty sure she got some nasty words, some choice words. But had it been the most famous pedophile had been a male in your country, I wonder if he would even have made it to live out his years here in America. Something to think about. Something to think about. Because she lived it out and she's gone now. She had her fun. She had her beautiful nights. She had, as far as how she perceived it to be beautiful. She did it all. She got off. She had orgasms. And you did nothing about it. She had orgasms with the boy of her dreams. No, I have to tell the truth, guys. It's got to be said like this. Because this is the reality. You don't live this way. It's not your reality, but it was her reality. She had orgasms with the boy of her dreams. She lived out her pedophile dream without persecution from your American community, without witch hunting from your American community, without psychological and pedophile entrapment operations from your American community. We ain't hear about it. Look, she's not culturally hated. Anybody know about her to hate her? So she ain't hated that much because nobody will know her, do they? So if she was really hated, wouldn't we know her? That part. That's a 7. Wouldn't we know her if she was that hated? Well, she's the most famous one of all. She was on Oprah. She was on Oprah. She was like almost celebrated as a celebrity. Hey, why wasn't the most famous male pedophile on there then? Huh? Well, there has to be one. He might not be the most famous American pedophile of all time, because Mary Kay Letourneau has that throne. But as far as the males, there has to be the most famous one. Why didn't Oprah bring him on? Huh? Why didn't Oprah bring him on? It's not interesting, is it? They even found this interesting. Yeah, that aggravates me. Your American culture even found this interesting. Not only Oprah. Hey, someone else had to find this interesting besides her too. She ain't the only one. In other words, besides the hideous, disgusting crime of pedophilia from this female, you found an entertainment element. You found it stimulating entertainment wise. I don't find any pedophile entertaining. I don't find any pedophile stimulating entertainment wise. See that part? But your country did. And this goes with understanding why they get away with it, why they're successful with getting away with it, why no one has a problem with it, because it's overlooked, downgraded, fantasized about, and to the point where people make it in a fantasy, or they make female pedophiles a sex symbol. Now, I give you another story too. And I'm sure, and I'm just being very transparent. You know, in my situation, you know, when I was 17, I went to what we call a street academy. That's a school for bad kids. You had to have done something real bad to get kicked out of school and to go there. And so that's where I went. I as a kid, I always got in trouble. I went to a bad kid school. So at the bad kid school, there had to be a monitor on the bus, on the school bus. That's because it's a bad kid school. You can't let these kids just be on the bus with no monitor because they're bad kids. So the monitor was an attractive woman named Tammy. Now, for whatever reason, Tammy was supposed to sit at the direct back of the bus, right? She couldn't obviously stand, so she had to sit somewhere at the back of the bus. But she liked to sit with me, right? And at that time, I had long hair. I looked really rebellious, like teenagers do, like how typically teenagers do. And she would ask me questions like, why you don't mess with any of the girls at the school? And I kind of really didn't. And I would say, I said at that time, well, they're not freaky enough, That's what I said. Okay. But yeah. So anyway, she just kept sitting around me. So me being a kid, a rebellious teenager, and it's this woman and she's attractive and she's voluptuous and she's sitting with me, I start feeling on the butt. Now that's what kids do because I'm a teenager. I'm 17. I'm out of line. I felt on her butt. She had a nice body and everything. Nice breasts, nice butt, everything. And she had to be about mid-30s, probably about 37, 38, maybe 39. And she just moaned a little bit, and let me do it. I think she probably would have never thought I would have did it as a kid. While she's asking me why I don't like girls at the school at the same time. And it wasn't that I didn't. I mean, one girl, she actually came over to my house from school after, on the weekend. She came over one time. But and I had a girlfriend that I was talking to outside of school too. That's really what it was. I had some girl I was talking to at that time, which we never really saw each other, but we talked all the time on the phone, which was crazy. And I probably had like another situation too. But anyway, I didn't see any interest really in the girls. But lo and behold, look at what I'm doing. I'm feeling on this bus monitor's butt. Now, most young guys would have done it because she just kept sitting with me. And now she's getting personal with me. She's asking me questions about girls. And I'm younger, so I'm not, am I technically in the wrong? You know, I'm shooting higher. But she didn't say anything. And neither did I, obviously. I mean, I made the move on her. So see, even there, I was inviting, by me feeling on her butt, I was inviting female pedophilia, right? Because she was obviously older than me. If she would have got caught being with me, yeah, she could have got with it legally. She could have got away with it legally. Maybe she knows the law. Maybe she does. Maybe she did. She could have got away with it legally because in North Carolina, the age of consent is 16. I was 17. So, yeah, she could have got away with it. Legally, yeah. Legally, she could have got away with it. Maybe that's why she didn't care. But most people wouldn't have been feeling that. Let's just put it like this. Had it been switched around and I was 17, a 17-year-old girl, and I was even feeling a guy was on a monitor on the bus, and I was groping his penis, and he was a fully grown man, y'all wouldn't be feeling that. Like, yeah, man, nah, man, you letting that little girl, 17-year-old girl feeling your penis, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Nah, man. Nah, man. You should have said something. But see, when I tell you a female, I felt the female's butt, and she was older than me. Excuse me. You don't really say anything. And obviously, I was not going to say anything. So even as a kid, my psychology was not to see older women as pedophiles or as off limits. This is another part because you have to, and you have to understand the wiring of the children. Because I'm telling you, even as I was 17, I had a situation where I felt on the butt of an older woman at school. And she let me do it. She let me do it. She didn't have a problem with it. And it was as far as our situation, it was legal. Like she couldn't have got locked up. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a child, obviously, and she's out of school, obviously. But she let me do it. And that lets you know how our culture is that we'll sit up and persecute male pedophiles, but when it comes to female pedophiles, now it gets tricky all of a sudden. Now it's tricky. You know why it's tricky? Because it's beauty involved. It's a vagina of a woman involved. That's why it's tricky. That's why it's tricky. It's tricky because we're attracted to women. That's why it's tricky. Men I just feel that men get treated worse in our society. You know, women feel like, okay, I mean, you know, they get treated bad. You know, some women do, some feminists do. I feel that you're being ultra sensitive. If you really pay attention, you know, it's really the places that you're really treated bad is really like, okay, if you are competing with men, and in some situations where it's a job atmosphere and job situations where you have to interact with men, there may be situations where you know the man may be trying to come on to you, or he may feel that you're not competent enough for a job or something like that, right? I get that part, but outside of the work element thing, right, and career thing, right? Let's just look at men. How like a woman walks down the street, right, or like how she goes to a store. She's treated totally different. That's why women boosters are better. A woman can go in the store and steal way more stuff. Like it's depending on like I'm saying on the average. A man goes in the store, he's already detected. Uh, he's already detected before he. As soon as he come in the store, ding dong. Oh yeah, they looking at him. Boom, ow. He caught already. A woman comes in the store. Oh, she's cute. And your radar, you ain't even thinking she's about to rip your store off. It's another example. Female boosters go in the store and steal all the time. They steal mad stuff. You know how to get away with it? Because they're females. You think they're just there. Oh, she might be window shopping. That part. She might be window shopping. Maybe she's just looking around. She's gonna come back later. You start thinking about the mechanics, like the wiring of a woman. How a woman thinks. Oh, she's gonna probably come back later and get it later. She probably has nothing to do. It's her day off. She's probably just coming and looking around. She's gonna come back later and get it. Or maybe she just, just looking around, window shopping. And that could be true. But your whole radar, for the most part, is down because she's a female coming in. It's the same thing. If a woman is coming into a store, right? And she's coming into a store, right? And I mean, she's coming into a store. If she's a pedophile, you're not even gonna think about that. That's the furthest thing away from your mind, right? Let a man come in the store. Oh, he might do something to these kids in here. Yeah, there's a lot of kids in here today. That man looks sketchy. But the female doesn't, because she literally is got makeup on, the lipstick, so much makeup, beauty. You ain't thinking nothing about sketchy. It's not even crossing your mind. So if a woman comes into a store filled with children, you're not thinking anything. She's a beautiful woman. Oh, hey, she's cute. Maybe she'll help us with the kids. That part. Hey, maybe she could work here. All kind of stuff like I am. But let a man come in the store. Look a little aggressive, mean, like we supposed to look a little bit. You know what I mean. Coming in looking a little tough and a little mean. Oh, they got all these kids in here. Keep an eye on him. He looks a little sketchy. He looks a little sketchy. We don't know. Man comes in, feeling kind of dirty, feeling kind of mean. He comes in, right? You already feeling like you know what's going, like who he is, and you don't. And that's the difference. That's what I'm saying. Woman comes into the store with children, man comes into the store, he's totally treated differently, Yeah, so it's just how our society is, man. So it's just like that's why I see it in the sense of, I don't think we ever will be able to ever bring females up to the level of criminal justice when it comes to pedophilia, because some people are just not going to say anything, for example. And then some kids will be involved themselves. Like, for example, me. I was 17 feeling on the older woman's butt. She was in her 30s. She was voluptuous. She looked, I was 17. I wasn't quite there, but as a man, but I already knew that's what I was wanting. Something like that. And she was looking the part. And so, hey, listen, she didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything. And that's how it goes in many scenarios, man. It's just how you gonna find out if ain't nobody saying nothing? If nobody see nothing and the parties are not saying anything, how is it gonna come out? You got that element, and then you have the overlooking of females, period, as criminals, just as criminals. If they're not cops or thugs or soldiers, most civilians overlook females, period. They just do. Like I am a spiritual soldier, so I don't overlook any human being, period. Like, I just don't. It's just, I'm in a war. I'm in a real spiritual war. Anybody could be the enemy, including women, including many women. Many women can be the enemy. And listen, women can't use their vaginas on me. You can't use it on me, buddy. Because I know you're very capable of being the enemy. In fact, you're more than capable of being the enemy, because some men use you to be the enemy. Yeah. Go send a woman as a camouflage for the enemy army. Like, we don't know, like, I don't know any better. I know better, so I do better. But many of you don't even think along those terms. You don't even think like that. You see a woman and just, she needs to be protected. How can we help her? How can we be of service? How can I be of service, ma'am? How can I help you? You need a sandwich? You need a glass of cold water? How can I help you? Suckers, man. And that's why a lot of times, listen, I'm not saying you per se are a sucker. If you cater to women, it's good to cater to women, to an understandable degree. But some people are suckers, man. And that's why they die, because they may trust some strange woman, and then, they get knocked over the head by 3 other guys, and now you're dead. Because you trusted the female element. You overlooked everything else. All the red flags you overlooked. And you just dismissed it over and over again because she was a female. I don't do that. If you give me red flags, I'll tell you, I don't trust you. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care how you feel about it. I will tell you, if you're a female and I don't trust you, I will let you know. You will be knowing I don't trust you. And that's why I live long. Men like me live long. Most of you men do not graduate. Let's talk about, besides pedophilia, most of you men who are not pedophiles, you just are suckers for women. You don't graduate to become men like me. You know why? Because you're a sucker for a woman. I'm gonna tell you like Scarface, like Tony Montana said it. You know what he said? He said, you know what I'm gonna tell you? He told his friend, his right-hand man. He told his right-hand man, he said, you know what's wrong with you? You like women too much. Now, see, these days, if that movie had been made, they would say, man, Tony Montana sound like he gay. But he wasn't gay. He liked women as a man should, right? You see, he had Michelle Pfeiffer in the movie. Michelle Pfeiffer was at that time she was gorgeous. He had desire for women. He talked to them and everything. You seen that in the movie. But he had an understanding of a human, like it's more to life than just looking at the female element. You got to look at other stuff. You got to look at other things, man. And if you female for you love women excessively, man, you look what happened to him. He wound up getting shot by the same man who told him that. Tony Montana said, "You love women too much." Minutes later, about an hour later, boom, he was shot, wasn't he? Ow. He was shot, wasn't he? Because he loved women so much, he even wanted Tony Montana's sister. No, and he already told him. He told him to stay away from him. Couldn't listen. He didn't listen, did he? See? Because he only saw one element. Like me, listen, man, I'd rather be the top than lose my integrity for a woman. You know what I'm saying? Messing with somebody else's woman, messing with women that's off limits, all kind of stuff like that. I'd rather be the best. I'd rather be the best. You understand me? I don't need it. Like if a woman is getting in the way of me being the best, guess what? You gotta go. No, listen, nobody's getting in the way of me being the best, man. That's the bottom line. And if your family, and if your country was like that, we wouldn't have these problems with these female pedophiles. You know, if you had the mentality where you're not gonna lose, you want to not only see women, you want to be the best country. You want to see. So in order to be the best country, you got to see man and woman the same. You can't, when it comes to criminal justice and all of that, you can't be just letting your guard down. You know what I'm saying? You got to be high of integrity. You got to that's how you the best. You're going to be the best like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be the best out here. Just falling all apart when you see a woman. See, I done lived a lot of places. I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in New York. I lived in Seattle. I lived in Florida. I'm from North Carolina. I lived in New York off and on 10 years. You know, I don't fall all apart. Women are beautiful, but I don't fall all apart like these other guys do. You fall all apart, you can't be the best like that, man. You can't be the best. I don't care. Like if it's being with women or catching them, doing something wrong. You can't be the best. Like, you know what I'm saying? Loving them too much, man. That part. That's what I'm saying. Loving them too much. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna catch them and you love them so much, man? It's like Tony Montana said. You know, you love women too much. Police, you love women too much. You can't even catch them. You can't even catch the pedophile women. You know why? Because you love them too much. You another one. Yeah. How come you always catching them after the fact? How come your community is always catching them after the fact? Maybe they love them too much too. Maybe that's why they can't be the best like me. Yeah. Because look at all these female teachers being caught these days. Look at it. You know what? You love them too much. That's what. Half of you did. Your community did. She's so nice. Guess what? She's a pedophile. Guess what? She's a pedophile. Didn't know that, did you? You know why you didn't know it? Because you loved her too much. That's why you didn't know. Yeah. They walk in your stores all the time. I'm pretty sure they do. You know why you don't know? Because you love them too much. You love them way too much. You don't have a balance in your force. You don't have a balance in your energy. You don't have balance with your justice. Women get in the way. Like I told you, the most famous one is a female. I don't let nobody get past my radar. Listen, you can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't love women too much. I'll tell you that. I love the right women the way I should. Put it like that. I love the right women in my family like I should. I love the woman of my life, whoever that may be, as I should. And I'm, I watch out and look out. It's like most men do, but that, for women, but to the right degree. And in the right discretion. If a woman got a man, listen, he should be looking out, not me. Because he gonna take it the wrong way. Like, why is he so looking out for you? That part. Now you can't win for losing. That's why, you know what? In that situation, that's why I said moderation, discretion. And I look out in moderation. I look out discretionally speak. I look out with discretion for women. You know what I'm saying? But some people, you got to love all the women. You got to be a ladies' man to every woman that you see. You got to have love, extra love from all the women. And now you get yourself in a jam. You can't get yourself out. You can't love all women like that, man. You can't. That's a summary of this conclusion of this video. You can't love all women like that. You gotta use some you gotta be paying attention to what they doing and all of that. And half of y'all are not doing that. Obviously, when all these female pedophiles are getting away with what they're doing, and you catching them after the fact, after the damage is done. After it's done, it's done. And that's another thing you need to know about pedophilia. Once it's done, it's done. Even if you do catch the pedophile, so what? He's already done it. The damage is done. He or she, whatever they've done, is done. You need to be trying to catch them within their rights, within the Constitution, before they do something. And I guarantee you, you're not going to even have that. You ain't even going to have that perspective of women at all. Because you just look at them, oh, she's beautiful. Men and women here in America, you do it. I can't speak for any other country. Maybe other countries, they don't look at that. But here they do. They worship women here. Yeah, I needed to say that. That's a 7. Yeah, a big part of the problem is everybody's worshiping women instead of worshiping God. There's one God. And it's not a woman. It's not women. There's one God. I ain't worshiping no women. Okay? That's another thing wrong with your community. You out here worshiping women. Hey, listen. People say, well, I ain't no pedophile, but you a sucker for women though. You worshiping women. How about that? Yeah, you ain't gonna get to heaven doing that. You ain't gonna get to heaven being a whoremonger. You ain't gonna get to heaven having sex with all these women, I'll tell you that. Hey, you might not be a pedophile, but you're still going to hell. Hey, if you having sex with all these women and you die like that, you going to hell, buddy. And you're going to be in the same hell with pedophiles, big baby. See, that's what I'm saying. Everybody point their fingers and you look at one thing as worse than the other, but guess what, man? Y'all all going to the same hell, man, at the end of the day. And that's why I am a Christian. That's why. Because you got away with that. You can do this and that. But you still need God. You still need Jesus, the sacrifice he made to get to heaven. You still need it. Okay, you're not a pedophile. Okay, you're not drinking and smoking. But you're still going to hell for other stuff. And you going to the same hell where Hitler's at, and all these Ku Klux Klansmen are at, and all these other people are at, these gangbangers are at. You're going to the same hell. You're going to burn just like they're going to burn. Bottom line, we got to stop worshiping these women. We got to stop worshiping these women to catch these female pedophiles. That's what we got to do. That's part of it.